Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Brainal Podcast. This is episode 29, and today is June 1st, 2016. I'm Frozen GFX.
I'm Mr. Giggles.
And I am Good Coffee.
And Jepi, unfortunately, will not be on today. He had a previous engagement, or he could be still mad about this whole No Man's Sky delay. And Giggles, we blame you, man. The world blames you.
Option 3, by the way, could be that he's still playing Overwatch and couldn't get off.
That's also a very plausible suggestion.
Yeah, could be. But, yeah, man, I mean, Giggs, you dropped a bomb on us last podcast with this No Man's Sky announcement, and I feel like it would not have been true had you not said it.
Did it feel like insult to injury, when, like, the next day they came out with, like, the official statement that it was being delayed?
It did. It hurt. It hurt deep.
Was that, like, salt on the wound?
Yeah, and, like, even, like, as I read today, the founder, Sean Murray for Hello Games, is like receiving death threats.
I saw that. That's mess. I mean, that's extreme, dude. I don't care who you are. That's a little ridiculous.
Yeah. I mean, I know gamers, we're a fickle beast, okay? But, I mean, that is just uncalled for. To give somebody death threats based on a delay of a game, that is insane.
Yeah, I got nothing on that. Just to say, man, some of you guys need to chill down. I know our readers aren't like that. I mean, and by readers, I mean listeners, and by whatever. All right, keep going.
By listeners, I guess it's just us, right?
Yeah, hey guys. It's just me and you. And Giggles makes 3.
Yeah, no, so, I mean, I don't know, Giggs. I blame you, and I have a newfound hatred for you. I know Jepi does as well, apparently. So much so, he didn't even want to hear your voice today.
Listen, don't kill the messenger, okay? Don't shoot the messenger.
I'm too
shoot you dead, man.
busy playing games that I just don't even care. That's what I say. But don't kill me, because I didn't deliver the message. I just delivered the not caring.
So speaking of games, Coffee, what have you been playing? Anything out of the ordinary?
Oh, yeah, actually. I've been playing 2 different games. I started playing Persona 4 Dancing All Night, which is a Persona rhythm game. I've had it for quite some time, but I haven't really touched it. Since I went to a concert this past weekend, I wanted to do some music games on the drive, so I had a lot of fun playing it. Really cool to revisit some of the characters from Persona 4, and I was actually surprised how decent this story is. So yeah, it's a rhythm game that actually has a story, kind of unfolds like a visual novel.
So when you say a rhythm game, is it like a dancing game, or you just like inputting commands at a certain
it's
beat
more
or something?
it's inputting commands to a beat. It's not a dancing game. It's actually for the PS Vita. So yeah, I can't really dance to my Vita. I mean, I could, but I don't think it would actually do anything.
Right.
And one other game I started, and I've not been able to put it down. And one of my friends gifted me. I'm sure you guys have probably heard of it. The game Undertale on Steam. Have you
Yeah,
heard
I
of it?
have actually heard a little bit about that in the past few weeks.
It's what have you heard?
Well, I mean, I've heard mostly like the music from the game, but correct me if I'm wrong. It's like it's an older style looking game, right?
Yeah, it harkens back to Super Nintendo, regular Nintendo. It really takes a lot of aesthetic from Earthbound, but man, this game, man, oh, everyone needs to play it. It has so much character. It has so much. I've never laughed this hard playing a game in a long time, and it's just really clever. The mechanics are clever. The music's beautiful. The artwork is simple, but it gets the point across. And the story is pretty nuts. So at $10, I say it's a steal. I know a million other people have played it before me, and I was avoiding it for a long time because it was so popular, and I was like, oh, this game's gonna, it's probably just one of them type of games. But
Yeah, yeah.
now that I've played it, I could see what all the hubbub is about, and yeah, good stuff. So let's hurry up and get this podcast done so I can go back and play it more. What about you,
Well,
you guys?
I'm not sure if you said this, and sorry, my microphone just cut out. But did you say it was like a horror game or an RPG game or something like that?
It's an RPG.
Oh, okay.
Well,
So like in that Nintendo style.
yeah, it actually takes a lot from Earthbound. It reminds me a lot of Earthbound.
Gotcha.
Similar quirky nature. So, it's good stuff.
Cool. What about you, Gigs?
Um, been playing a lot of Division since the new update last week, which they just released another like 4.5 gig patch to fix a lot of the bugs.
Man, that's a huge size, man.
Well, I don't know if I mentioned in the last podcast as a news update that when they released it, they had waited like an extra 2 weeks to release it to fix all of these bugs and to make sure that what happened with the first patch that was released, that this wouldn't happen. And it turns out that once again the patch was deleting people's characters. Which
Oh, I remember you talking about that.
right, which is the very thing they promised would never happen again. So they kind of dropped the ball, but it's been awesome. The update adds so much content to the game. It's incredible. And then also, not that it's necessarily a throwback, but I did start playing Heroes of the Storm, the MOBA from Blizzard.
Is that a one of those like card games?
No, it's a MOBA. It's one of those like there's 3 lanes, and then you have 2 teams, and the goal is to destroy the other team's like home base, basically.
So a bit similar to maybe League of Legends.
It's exactly what League of Legends is, just
Okay.
Blizzard.
Gotcha. And how's that experience been going so far?
To be honest, it's a ton of fun. I've been playing with my brothers, and some other friends of ours. So it's one of those games, and this is something where I think I'll pick up Overwatch this week, but it's one of those things, it's the community makes the game, and you need to have people to play with. If you don't have people to play with, like, remember when I mentioned I was playing StarCraft 2, and you were like, oh, I should download StarCraft 2 again. It's kind of like that. If you have someone to play with, it's totally worth it.
Who's your favorite character to use?
Tyrael.
Yeah, you like exploding up on people and stuff?
I explode all over people.
You just explode.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I played that game as well. I haven't played it in a little while. I know Tracers from Overwatch is out on it now, and I have a free download code for her, so I'm gonna probably check it out again. If I can pull myself away from Overwatch.
Yeah, I'm scared to get Overwatch. Sorry.
No, I was gonna mention Overwatch. Unfortunately I didn't purchase Overwatch yet. I played some of the beta when that came out, and I had a blast with that. But I know Jepi's hook, line, and sinker on this game. I've been hearing nothing but great things about it, and I know Coffee, you've been playing it in the past when it was still the beta version.
Yeah.
So I mean, did they change anything significant from the actual release, or is it just pretty much still the same type of gameplay?
Same type of gameplay. They have added. There's more maps available, and other than that, it's pretty much the same. But it's one of those games where the more you put into it, the more you get out of it, and it really has so much character and personality, and even more so than I was playing the beta. I'm addicted. So.
Well, forgive my ignorance in this game, but the only part that I played in the beta was just the multiplayer, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, there seems to be a story within this game, even from those animated shorts, because I saw a couple of them. Is that integrated into the game as well? Like, is there like a single player, or
There is
it
not.
just okay?
Yeah, there's not a single player, but there's a lot of banter between the characters, and they often mention, like when you start out, I don't know if you notice it when you're playing the beta at all, but they often talk to each other and have like little dialogue and side conversations, and it references stuff from the videos and rivalries and all that kind of stuff. I really wouldn't be surprised if they did decide to add on at least some more in depth. Maybe not single player, but I know they're gonna keep exploring the lore associated with the game because the characters are so interesting. So I guess we'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah, it should be interesting. I mean, I loved the beta when it came out. It was really fun to play, and I didn't know exactly what was going on. I didn't know the story links with each character. I just knew I kept dying from whoever was playing Hanzo, that damn archer.
Oh, he's the best.
I mean, that and those, the dragons that were coming out every half a second.
I don't know, something like that.
That is exactly what he says.
Yes.
So, did you guys hear about that player that already reached max level?
No, but
No.
that guy needs to share, his
Secrets.
Get a life, man.
His secrets were he played 13 hours a day since release.
That's not a secret. That's a horrible
That's
addiction.
insane.
And he averaged around 13 hours a day, and he has already logged in 96 hours of playtime.
Holy crap on a crap cracker.
Good God, man, that is crazy. I'm just picturing that dude from South Park in the Warcraft episode.
Oh yeah, Cartman, where he's just
Yeah.
like, the old guy. Yeah, I get what you're talking about.
Yeah, the old dude. Yeah. Well, we're in a new month now, and both PlayStation Plus and Xbox, I guess it's Xbox Gold, right? Have the ability to get those free downloads for those games. For PlayStation Plus members, looks like we're going to get Gone Home, which is what I just recently played in our YouTube channel for our Brainal Plays.
Excellent.
And then-
I haven't played that yet.
Oh man, you're in for a treat if you pick that up. I mean, heck, it's free, so why wouldn't you, right?
I'll definitely pick it up.
Yeah, it's a great story-driven game. And the other game, NBA 2K16.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody here is a sports game player, right?
No, not really.
Yeah,
Except
so
for
I mean,
racing, if you count that. Racing's a sport.
oh,
Yeah.
okay, yeah.
Mario Kart.
Oh yeah, Mario Kart can get really competitive. Just ask Jepi about that next time you see him. So those two games, I think out of the two, for me, obviously, I'm going to be partial to Gone Home. I played that game off of Jepi's recommendation and absolutely love that game. And I won't spoil anything for you, Coffee. I mean, once you download and play it, I would love to hear your feedback on it because I think it's a great game.
About how long is it? I think it's short.
It's pretty short. Man, I want to say probably my total play time, and I was taking my time through it, maybe 3.5, 4 hours, maybe.
Okay.
But I was just, the story that unfolds it's pretty interesting, and it just sucks you in. So,
Nice.
and it does it very well. Now on the flip side, though, Xbox Gold members, their free games of this month is Goat Simulator
Ooh.
and The Crew. So, Goat Simulator. Well, The Crew is some kind of a racing game, and then Goat Simulator, which I've heard as like a joke, and I've never played this game, but I find it interesting that you have PlayStation coming out with Gone Home, which I think is a very strong and powerful game, and you got Xbox leading with Goat Simulator. It's pretty sad, I think.
Yeah, that's.
Jeez.
Oh, one thing. Also, you didn't mention it, but Siren Blood Curse is coming out for free on PS3. It's a horror game. I've heard really good things about it. That's free on PS Plus as well.
Oh, sweet. I didn't know. Well, I don't have a PS3, and I didn't even look up on it, but that's pretty cool. What, you said it's a horror game, so, I
Yeah,
mean,
survival horror.
survival horror. Yikes. Yeah, see, I would pass on that because horror games are not my forte.
Well, weren't you just playing through that one Town of Light or whatever?
Yeah,
That game was pretty messed up.
I did. It wasn't the type of horror game that I guess one would associate with when you mention horror games. It wasn't any. There weren't any jump scares. There weren't anything like that. Nobody chasing me. It was more just a
Cerebral.
yeah, and just messes you up. And
Those bother me actually more than the jump scare stuff, frankly.
Yeah. Other news. Xbox One, I heard, is going to be getting a temporary price cut. Have you guys heard about this?
I have not, no.
So it looks like from, I don't know exactly when it's going to start. It could be this weekend or maybe next week. It's going to drop 50. It's going to do a $50 price cut. But the thing is, it's going to be temporary, and it's only lasting until E3. So it's kind of like a way of, well, I guess rumors about it is a way of them trying to get the popularity of the Xbox One with enticing people with the $50 price cut, so that way they can come out in E3 and reveal either the slimmer version of the Xbox One or that more powerful version that we were talking about a couple podcasts ago. It seems like from the get-go, me personally, this is just my opinion, it just seems like Xbox has always been trying to catch up since their blunders of their initial announcement of the Xbox One with all of those crazy things that everybody hated. And it just hasn't gained that traction, and they're trying to do everything they can to try to make up for it. I mean, that's my opinion, but it seems like they're doing this around this time. It definitely seems that way to me. Yeah. What about you guys? You got anything you want to talk about?
I mean, I'm just really hyped for Odin Sphere coming out again. I played the demo. I don't know if anyone else has checked that out. I don't know if anyone else is a Vanillaware fan, but holy crap, I want to play that game very badly.
So I don't really know much about this game. Can you kind of explain a little bit more to me?
Okay, well, it's a HD re-release of a PS2 RPG that tells a story. This girl, she's reading these different books, and it starts out with this little girl and her cat. She starts reading these books, and it unfolds kind of like Norse mythology, and it follows these 5 different characters as their paths intertwine, and it's beautifully animated, hand drawn, just really, really pretty to look at. Action RPG, beautiful music. One of my favorite PS2 games, but it had a lot of slowdown because the PS2 couldn't quite handle how good it looked. So they redid it for PS4, sped up the combat, added a lot of stuff, added some new enemies, and it's been getting really good reviews. IGN gave it a 9.5. Not the reviews matter, but I'm pumped. I'm pretty pumped.
Wow, that's pretty high ranking, man. I've never heard of that game before ever.
Well, now you have.
So
Check it out.
yeah,
It's not Dragon. It's Odin Sphere Luftrazer or something like that. Yeah,
Lufthrazar, something like that.
yeah,
Yeah, I'm looking at some of the screenshots now, and they look delicious.
yeah. It,
They look really, really nice.
yeah, it's a pretty game. So
Nice. What about you, Gigs? You got anything?
Um, Actually, there was something I wanted to mention, and it was actually kind of geared towards Jepi. I was hoping he'd be on because me and him have had this conversation multiple times.
Well, you
Um,
know why he's not here. You ruined his life.
you did.
well, then I can sleep happy tonight. So, anyway,
Snap.
so did you guys hear about that guy? I believe it's the CEO of Two. Is it Two Time? I'm trying to think the name what company he was heading, but he was talking about the VR and how there's no it's Take Two.
Yeah.
Um,
Mm.
and how he was talking about how there's no market for VR right now.
Really?
Yeah, and he said, he was talking about how right now, like how expensive it is to have VR, and then on top of that, also the fact that like you need like a space in which to play it, that there's really not a market for it right now. And I thought that was super interesting because of the fact that, you know, um, Frozen, as you know, because you've been involved in quite a few of those conversations as well. Um, Jepi has been stoked for VR.
Um.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Go ahead. I'm sorry to interrupt.
no. I mean, it's just a kind of a standard fact at this point. I don't. I'm pretty sure there's enough evidence on podcast alone to prove that. But, um, you know, it's the idea that it's something that me and him have argued a lot, or not argued, but debated, and I've kind of said a lot of times that I just don't really see it right. I mean, maybe in the future, but not right now because of where technology's at. And I thought it was really funny that someone from a pretty well-known company um, came out and gave that kind of report.
I uh, would agree with you to an extent. The thing is, I'm hearing a lot of people start talking about VR, and I think it's just going to be a matter of time. And it is really a price point thing. I noticed they're actually starting to push it. I mean, they were offering it. They were offering it with one of the Galaxy phones for free. One of the headgear
Yeah.
things. So I
Yeah.
think this is something that's right now for some of the more expensive stuff. If you, it's going to be more niche, but I think as it gets into the general population through Google Cardboard and some of the other cell phone stuff, I think this is really going to be where the future is going with electronics. And it actually, I think it's a little freaky, but I think it's going to catch on. It might not be immediate, but I really think it's going to go that direction. But yeah, I agree right now, especially when it comes to gaming. It's too expensive. It's kind of more of a novelty item almost at this point.
Yeah. Dude, I agree with you, man. I mean, I would love to see VR take off and be, in the next, I don't know, maybe 5 years, be a new standard for the video games. But I think right now, it's more of that hype. Like, oh man, we have these, VR capable devices. And, it's great that we're immersing ourselves into it. I, I can't think of any standout VR games right now that are out there for any of the VR devices. Do any of you know of any?
Nope.
Well, there's some tech that I have heard of that's pretty insane. I forget exactly what it was called, but it has some pretty heavy applications. Kind of scary too. It's technology that lets you have virtual LAN parties, basically. So you can invite your buddy to come into your virtual living room or wherever the heck you want to chill out. I think there's an option for you guys to chill out on the moon, literally like a moonscape. And you could set up several TVs, and you could literally choose. Oh, okay, I'm gonna sit in this couch, and my other friend's gonna sit over on this couch, and you guys could literally play a multiplayer game together on a virtual TV in virtual reality, which is really, really bizarre in my mind.
Yeah, that's a strange concept.
Yeah.
So now
Yeah.
now you're saying that we have a game that lets you pretend you're actually hanging out with your friends playing
Well,
another game.
yes, that's exactly
Gameception.
accurate.
Yeah.
But think about it though. If you're really really far away from a good friend or something like that, and you want to, I mean, EA right now, they I'm not the I'm the I'm going to be the first to say that I'm not a huge fan of EA because I don't like all the things they do with microtransactions and kind of whoring themselves up, but
Right. Right.
um they recently announced that they are working solely on a VR division to work on um, making it so uh, they're realistic avatars of players in the 3D realm. So I feel like that's going to become something that they work more and more on. So when you do get into these programs where you could hang out in virtual space, you could look over at your buddy and a at least more close representation of them is hanging out there. But I mean, it's interesting stuff to think about. Like I said, it's a little freaky, and it makes me think of the movie Wall-E and everyone being
Yeah.
antisocial and never moving. But who knows? Who knows where it's going to go?
Yeah, that's a strange aspect of it. And I remember in our earlier podcast we talked about that augmented reality version of VR, which I think I think overall would damage your perception of reality if you're, I think the example we used was the demo of the HoloLens. I think it was where somebody was in their living room, and then all of a sudden, like their wall broke down, and there were robots or something invading. Like that could just mess you
Oh
up
yeah,
for
no,
extended play.
no, that would.
Like that's just ridiculous.
I don't think that's a good idea at all. Um, I mean, I could go an example. I went to a concert this weekend. I'm trying not to get too off of tangent here,
That's fine.
but I went to the Hatsune Miku concert, which is a Vocaloid, and they do hologram live performances of 3D characters um, in real space, and it's a similar idea. It looks so real that I literally tweaked out. Like I thought I was like in for a bit. I thought I was in Fantasyland, and all my other friends felt the same way. We were all sober, and man, I mean, this is where the future of technology is going, and I'm starting to think about, man, when is it going to be too much when the line of fantasy and reality blur to the point where it really starts messing with people. I mean, I don't know if you guys have played Heavy Rain, but have you guys
No,
played Heavy Rain?
no, I haven't. No.
No.
Okay, well, there's this one guy who has kind of like these hollow glasses that he wears, and he becomes addicted to them. He's constantly playing games on these hollow glasses and stuff, but it gets to the point where he takes the glasses off, and he still sees the things from the game. It's some sort of sickness associated with what he's been using for so long. So I'm just like, what does it do to brains, especially
Yeah.
young brains who get into this kind of tech? What is it going to do to their brain? Like I'm just like, ooh, who
Yeah.
knows?
That's the scary aspect of it, man. But I mean, I hope VR doesn't go that route, that concept, especially that you mentioned. That's just a little too creepy. But who knows? Who knows what's going to
Yeah.
happen? I mean, like I said, I mean, I would love for it to be a new standard in maybe the next 5 years. I think right now they're going to be exploring a lot of its possibility, and we just got to see where it takes us, man.
Yeah, I mean it'll be an interesting ride, at least that's for sure.
Yeah. Anything else you guys got?
That's it for me for the week.
Yeah. I don't think I have much more. Wait. Actually, I do. So I know that you guys. I guess I would venture to say primarily console gaming players, right? Like whether it's the Xbox or the PlayStation. But do you do any PC gaming? I know gigs you're playing Heroes of the Storm, but do you guys share an equal amount of PC gaming?
I play a few random ones from time to time, depending.
Is anybody familiar with the Humble Bundle?
Yes.
So the latest iteration of the Humble Bundle, which I love saying that, by the way, is they have a lot of narrative-driven games. Like, for example, Her Story. Now, Her Story, I've heard a lot from Jepi, and I think, Coffee, if I'm not mistaken, maybe you've played that before. Am I wrong?
I haven't. I know
No?
of
Okay.
it. I've been meaning to. Jeppy's been getting on me that I should play that game, that I would enjoy it.
Yeah.
It's by the same company that made Silent Hill Shattered Memories, which is an excellent
Nice.
remake of Silent Hill 1, so definitely something to check out.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, that's, from what I've seen and just a little bit of reviews from that game, that's an amazing, well put together game. So I'm really interested in picking this up. I think it's got maybe, I don't know, maybe 12 days left, or maybe 12 hours. I could be looking at the clock wrong, but whatever. It's got a lot of games that are that type of a story-driven game, especially since I just finished playing Gone Home. And I would consider that a narrative type game. Their stories are just so well written that I'm really interested in picking this up and checking out some other ones. They have Her Story, Read Only Memories, which I've never heard before, and Sybil, or Sibel, which seem to be pretty interesting. They have some others there as well. I mean, if you were to pay more than, like, I think $5, you get Broken Age, 80 Days, Sorcery, some other games in there which I've never heard of, but could be interesting. I think
Broken Age is excellent.
Oh, you've played that one?
Yeah, it's a really good game.
What do you know what it's about? I have no idea.
It harkens back. I mean, it's a Tim Schafer game, so it harkens back to Monkey Island.
Okay, gotcha.
That kind of thing. The old point-and-click adventure games with puzzles and a lot of fun dialogue, quirky characters. It's good stuff.
Cool. I think I'm going to pull the trigger on this after the podcast today. Check it out. Maybe I'll do a review or something.
Do it.
All right. Well, I don't have a game, or actually a question of the week, prepared because my focus was really on trying to take this over today because Jeppy wasn't here. But I'll leave the floor open, and if anybody's got a question of the week.
So I get a question of the week.
Okay.
And it's purely just obviously an opinion question. But, so we all of us are pretty much a little bit older now. We've been playing video games for a while. I still consider myself a casual gamer. I work full time. I do these podcasts and I Brainal, but I don't always have time to like play games and stuff like that. And like as we all know from trying to meet up on Destiny and stuff like that, like schedules conflict and things like that.
Right.
Do you think now, anyone that's played an MMO, Coffee, you've played MMOs before, correct? Because I know you've played 14.
Yes,
we've played that.
Kind of a disgusting amount. Actually.
Okay, so that being said, and I remember from my days, and I'm sure all can relate to this, of playing WoW, when you were raiding and stuff like that, and the need for like raid parties and things like that. Do you think that the casual gamer has become more accepted or less accepted in today's gaming world?
It depends on who you ask. I feel like when it comes to casual gamer, it depends on what kind of casual gamer you're talking to, because I know within the gaming community there's a lot of especially hardcore gamers. When they hear of casual gamers, they think of people that play Farmville on Facebook, or
my God.
a whole bunch of mobile titles. And yeah, see, his response right there, I mean, I tend to respond the same way. I'm like, you call that gaming? Get out of here with that crap.
Get out of here.
Get out of here with that crap. But the thing is, I mean, it still opens people up to the idea of gaming, and I think it can be good. But Do I think it's looked better on? Mm, no, I think it might be actually worse because of the Facebook games and the I don't Candy Crush and all that stuff. I mean, that's just my opinion.
Let me rephrase my question a little bit. Do you think now, as time has changed, that there's different categories of casual gamer?
I think I would agree with that, considering when you first asked the question, I'm thinking of a casual gamer as, well, okay. So, Coffee, you mentioned those like social Facebook games, like Farmville or whatever mobile games, right? To me
Yeah.
personally, I wouldn't consider that gaming. Like, that's just,
Oh, me neither. But
it's,
some people do.
yes, some people do, but I don't. But that's pretty much the extent of their catalog, right? Like they know of maybe the old classics such as Mario or something like that, but they're not going to be able to really give you a review or a take on hell, I don't know, Destiny or some other game that's more modern and actually is on a console or in a PC. I definitely think there's more than one category of just a casual gamer. Like you mentioned, gigs you play when you can. You have a full time job. A lot of us have full time jobs or doing things other than that. So, in the sense of a casual gaming experience, maybe an hour, 2 hours of playing a game, and then you got to do something else because life gets in the way. But then I also see other people that maybe just play one type of game over and over again because that's just what they like to play and they haven't really ventured out to play anything else. So I think there's a lot of different nuances in that casual gamer label. But for me personally, I would say it definitely has changed from what I would think of a casual gamer like 5 years ago to what I think of a casual gamer today.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just such an interesting topic that doesn't really get talked about, and I mean, I, I'm happy that like you kind of saw that example too. Is that like, I think the gaming community as a whole has gotten tremendously older. I think everyone can agree with that now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, so that being said, I kind of look at it as, you know, when I was younger than I am now, and I didn't have as much responsibility. Like I played all the time. Like I
Oh,
could
of
have
course,
days.
hours and hours on end.
Right, and
Mm-hmm.
now I have days where like that's. But now like for me like, you know, it's getting on after work, seeing if I can get a couple, like an hour or two in, doing a daily mission here if it's for like Division or like Destiny. We would go and do a daily real quick or something like that. Um, things like that. Whereas I feel like more people are in that category where that's becoming more of a norm. And I think it's so fascinating because I remember playing WoW. Funny enough, I see the icon on my computer for World of Warcraft, but I remember playing WoW years ago. And, I probably would put in 10 hours a week, like a part time job almost. But, like, I remember having players look at me and being like, well, you're not serious and blah, blah, blah. You can't, like, raid with us. And I was like, kind of always annoyed because I'm like, well, I don't have 30 hours a week to go play this game and do raiding parties.
Yeah, yeah,
But I'm feeling that's becoming more of a normal thing amongst people, no?
At least our age, yeah.
yeah. I
But
would. Yeah. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Coffee.
I oh, I was just gonna say that I mean, I still see that in the younger crowd. Although I feel like the younger crowd is kind of obsessed with playing games like Minecraft and that kind of thing. It's different. There's a different generation of gamers, and they're playing in different things than we were. But yeah, um, I could see what you're saying. We just don't have the time we used to anymore, so we got to pick and choose what we want to play, um, and what games you want to spend our time in when we have the time.
Yeah.
Well put.
I mean, I think it's. Oh, sorry, go.
No, no, no. I was just saying, very well put.
Yeah, and I just it's always an interesting question, and I've talked to other people about this, other people who play games, other people who don't. And it's something that's always interested me because of the fact that, like, you know, I love playing online games. We were talking about Frozen. You were like, oh, do you guys play a solid amount of computer games?
Yeah.
And I feel like, for me, computer games are always associated, for the most part, at least for me, with, like, online gaming. That was the whole kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Same.
And,
Yeah.
Right. And I think that, I wonder if it's the reason why I'm so big on console gaming now is because of the fact that, because I was never that serious, hardcore gamer, at least at times, never really on PC, is that why now, like, I don't have Steam, and it's nothing against Steam. I think Steam's a fantastic service, but I don't have any of those things, and I have a computer. I do play games, obviously. I was just mentioning that earlier today. I was playing Heroes of the Storm, but I don't really get much far past that, and I wonder if that's because of the fact that the generation I grew up in, you know, being that type of gamer, unless you were, like, fully committed, never really worked out.
I mean, it's an interesting point, and I mean, the status quo, like, always changes. You know, I mean, games that I grew up in are now considered garbage, I guess, by the younger crowd, and you know, I'm sorry, what?
I was just saying they don't know any better. That's all.
Yeah, I mean, it changes from time to time. So, I mean, it's an interesting topic, man. I think it's I stick with my opinion. I think there's different categories, and it's just how it is, man.
Yeah. Well, I just wanted to bring it up. This is something that happens to all of us, especially as we either get older, have responsibilities, or not. But, I was playing with, this all got brought up in my head again, because I was playing with two people the other day that were much younger than I were. And it was funny because they were talking about all this stuff, and I was just in my head, I was like, where do you have the time to do this?
It's a responsible adult now.
Right, and then I realized, 8 years ago, I was probably the same way. I was like, oh man, why is this guy not, beating these 3 dungeons with me right now and wasting 5 hours of his time? Why wouldn't he do that? Was he dumb?
Yeah.
So, I think it's an interesting thing to watch. Yeah?
I still do that sometimes. If I will set aside... I mean, I'm not going to lie, I set aside probably a lot of time every day. I usually game at least 2 hours a day. But I'm still in school, and that's after I do a whole bunch of homework and get everything done that I need to do. If I'm not spending time with friends or, working on something else, I'll probably be gaming that evening for a couple hours. Now, I don't think that's going to last much longer, but I would say that, I still have time. Yeah, so I don't know why I do, but I do.
Well, I mean, it's just time management. You learn to manage your time and fit in the you time of playing the game. So, for me, I'm kind of the same way. An hour and a half, 2 hours, and I'm pretty much good for the night. Those sessions of 5-6 hours of raiding or doing, playing through a game, man, those days are kind of behind me. So. Well,
thanks, guys.
Yeah, thank you, man. It's good stuff. So if you guys got nothing else, I'll start closing it out. You guys good?
Suck it, Mr. Giggles.
Oh, my God. All right, well, thank you, everyone, for joining us here at the Brainal Podcast. This has been episode 29. If you like what you hear, you can check us out on YouTube at Brainal, where we have a lot of Let's Play videos of new and classic games. If you'd like to catch up on some previous episodes of the Brainal Podcast, you can check us out on iTunes as well. And we also have a website, brainal.net, which in the upcoming weeks is going to be going through a revision, and we'll have some new and fresh content on there as well. So look forward to that, and thank you for joining us, and have a great day.
Have a good night, guys.
care, guys.